Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected, find out how to choose an internet service provider, discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride.
How about now? How about now? Does it work now? Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Vicky. Hi, John. I said, I don't know where everyone is. I fucked around with the mic, and now look at where we are. I'm just kidding. Thanks for being here, guys. I really, as I pause for a long time, in reality, we should get going because we actually have quite a long case to listen to this morning. And like I said, I have to work this afternoon. So we have to do it. This is a really unique case. Because it is, it is not something that we normally hear, but I think it'll be good. It's not super duper long, but it's like 45 plus minutes. So let's do that. So I'm going to try not to talk too much. I'll be typing in the chat. That's what I figured, but we'll see if this ever plays. Thank you. And the audio should be okay. It's that bad courtroom, but...
(36985) time and date set for hearing on allegations of probation violation. Defendant is present, represented by Attorney Andrew R. Lockhart. People are represented by Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney David Wallace. Are there any preliminary matters we need to discuss before we proceed with this matter? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Opening.
Just very briefly, Your Honor, we have a number of, we'll have a couple of witnesses to testify today. In particular will be Ms. Mead, who we believe will testify that she heard the defendant making threats or a threat at one point in time here back in Frankenmuth. That's obviously one of the conditions that he not make assaultive threatening behavior as far as his condition of probation. We believe that will be shown to be a violation.
Very well, thank you. Mr. Lockhart, do you wish to provide an opening or do you wish to reserve it?
I'll reserve it.
Your first witness.
We will call Ms. Alexander.
Ms. Alexander, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So, please be seated. It works now.
State your name, please, and spell your last name.
Agent Mandy Alexander, Alexander.
You said agent, so are you a probation officer here for Huron County?
I am.
And is one of your probationers, defendant in this case, Mr. Rosenthal?
That's correct.
How long has he been on probation for approximately? Just roughly.
I would have to look at least 2, I think this was the second year.
Okay. And the way of the terms of his probation deal with assaultive or threatening behavior.
Yes.
What would be the basic term that would be required there for that condition?
I'm sorry.
What's the condition of the term for that particular item?
He's not to commit to any assault, abusive, or threatening behavior.
And that would have been made known to him when he was placed on probation?
Correct.
And back in February of this year, he was on probation to you at that time
Yes.
with that same term?
Yes.
Cross-examination.
Next witness. You call Ms. Mead, Diane Mead.
You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. See?
Hi, Jessica. This is his aunt testifying, you guys, against him. What a terrible family Christmas it will be. What a terrible family Christmas. But you know what I remembered? We found another bottom to a different kind of pen, but I think it might work on this one. And it's charged already. Please work, pen. Anyways, I'll let you guys know about that in a second. You got bitten by an ant? Courtney, are you okay? That's so serious. What kind of ant? I hope it wasn't your maternal aunt. That would be terrible. Or paternal. Both of those those are probably the worst ants to be bit by.
Can you please spell your last name?
Diane Mead, M-E-A-D.
And ma'am, you know the defendant Christopher Ozentowski,
Yes, I do. He's one of my nephews.
one of your nephews. And make sure you speak into the microphone so we can all hear you.
Okay.
And so he's your nephew. Do you have any other relationship with him in terms of interaction with him? Very confusing question, I admit.
Yes, it is. He's the son of my deceased brother.
Okay. And in terms of that, do you have any financial relationship there that you would deal with him?
Yes, I am the trustee on a trust after my brother passed away. I was on his will to be the trustee of his estate.
Okay. And that would involve then also with Christopher Ozentowski as the son of your brother.
Correct.
Now, back on February 22nd and 23rd of this year, where were you at?
Frankenmuth having a wonderful celebration for my mom's 90th birthday.
Were there a number of people there?
We had about 70 people staying on site for 2 days
Where was it at? Where were you staying at?
at the splash park in Frankenmuth.
Also, was that their splash pad?
Yes.
Now, at some point, did you see the defendant there?
Yes, he was. It was a 2-day event, and he was coming in on the second day to stay overnight with his children and enjoy that part of the celebration.
Okay. And his children were there as well?
Yes.
How many children?
2.
About how old?
I'm going to say Landon's probably 9, and I know Lily will be 12 next week.
Now, at some point, did you have some concerns with Mr. Ozentowski and how he was acting at that time?
Well, it probably within an hour of being on site, because we had such a large group of people there, there were blocks of rooms and hallways, and people were starting to come up to our family meal and talk about marijuana smell coming from that room. So,
And you see that room, whose room?
The room that Christopher was assigned to.
So in terms of that, what happened then?
So people were bringing that to our attention at the party because there was a lot of people, family going back and forth. They didn't know, I don't think at that time it was his room, just that there was that room that was in our block. So that was brought to our attention. I shared it with my oldest brother. They tagged security to go check that room. We're not sure they ever went in. That was going to be just a housekeeping person to go in, but that continued throughout the night until we had to go to that room and address it.
Now, at some point in time, did you speak to the defendant regarding his ability to drive?
We did, because
You say we, who's we?
my oldest brother, my sister, and at that time, hotel security.
Were you there as well?
Yes,
Okay.
and myself.
And about what time of the day or night was this?
About 11 o'clock,
At night?
yes.
And where did this take place at?
It took place outside of Christopher's room.
Okay. And what happened during this point in time?
So during this point in time, Christopher's ex-wife, who was not a part of the party plan, but was in the room with the kids, my sister and I knocked on the door. No one answered. Christopher came down the hallway back to his room, opened the door freely, and we were like, this is mom's party, and what's going on here? Because this is a problem that we don't want to have ruin this family party.
Let me stop you there for a moment. So when you knocked on the door, it was that you see him coming down the hallway.
Correct,
So he wasn't in the room at that moment.
correct.
Okay. He goes into the room. Okay. And then you're talking to him about the concerns because of the party. What happened then?
Then quite a bit of conversation started happening. He was upset about not being able to do a family euchre tournament. He said he left to drink, to go get alcohol because he was sad about that. It was enough conversation that the security team asked us to move to an alcove right down the hallway and continue our conversation there, which we did. My oldest brother, Christopher, myself, my sister, Karen, and tried to talk some things through there and find out, how are we going to maintain this party, the integrity of the joy of it with this going on.
And at some point, did you make a request of him?
Yes. He was upset and said, I will just leave. I'll just leave and drive away. And the conversation turned to, you're intoxicated. And his ex-wife was passed out on the bed, or seemingly she never responded to anything when we were in that room. Nothing, didn't roll over, didn't move, didn't say a word. And we're thinking you can't drive. You have our mom's car, you have children with you. So he freely handed the car keys over with the plan of meeting in the morning over coffee to get the keys back and make sure everybody was safe.
Okay. So at that point, then you have his car keys, and because you were concerned about his driving ability at that time.
Correct.
And so then so you separated and went on your way at that point?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see where he went to?
I didn't, because during that conversation, because there were so many family on site, multiple people were going back and forth, looking in to see if everybody was okay. And my son, who is a retired detective, came by. He turned around and came back, wanting to know what was going on here and if he could help. And the conversation just started becoming redundant. So the rest of us left. My son said, I'm going to stay and talk with Christopher for a while, and the rest of you can go back to the party or back to visiting with family. So I don't know where he went from there because he was with my son.
Okay. But you left at that point in time
Yes.
to go back to the party.
Yes.
Now, at some point in time after that, did you go back the defendant's room at that point?
I did because my room was 2 rooms past his room, and it was about 1:30 in the morning, and I was exhausted. All I wanted to do, I was ready. My husband had already returned to our room. I just wanted to go to bed. And when I was walking by there, I heard Landon, Christopher's son, yelling out, "Dad, stop saying that. You shouldn't be saying things like that." That got me.
So remember that this is a probation violation hearing. Is it, Courtney? I didn't realize it was Canadian. But remember that means that the rules are different. Hearsay is admissible in this hearing. So, you know, here's the thing. This sounds to me like, I don't know, this family has had troubles for a long while. But I don't understand why they couldn't just deal with it, why they had to bring it to court. It's crazy. A trick-taking card game played in Canada, Great Britain, New Zealand, upstate New York, and the Midwestern United States. Cool.
Attention.
What did you do at that point?
I backed up and stood outside that door, and that's when I heard him telling them it was, yelling out, "It was all your fault. Now I have to, have goddamn coffee with her in the morning," which we already had that plan because that's how he was going to get the keys back. If I'm just going to tell her, I either am going to get all the money, or I'll live with grandma forever, or I will fucking kill. And then I left to go get help.
So when you heard those words, that's when you decided you needed to get someone else there?
Yes.
And again, what did you hear him say at that point in time? What was the statement he made as far as?
The statement was blaming, saying that because of all of you, I have to go have goddamn coffee with her in the morning, but I am going to tell her either she gives me all of my money, or I will stay with grandma forever, or I will fucking kill.
After that word, did you hear anything else said?
No, because I left to go get help.
And who did you go to?
I went back to where my brother, I went to the security desk first, which was right where the rest of my family was meeting. And then I went to my brother again, my oldest brother down again, and my sister, and I said, "We have a problem." And they joined me. And then security, I think it was protocol, when they hear a term kill, they said that they were calling the police to come on site.
And did the police respond?
Yes, they did.
That was Frankenmuth Police?
Yes, it was.
When that statement was made, as you heard, you recognize his voice?
Yes.
And you'd heard before that his son was in the room?
And all of them were in the room. Yes.
And when he made that statement, what kind of tone of voice was it?
It was anger.
When the police, you said the police responded,
Yes.
or at least they were called and they did respond.
Yes, they did.
And the hotel security was there as well.
Yes, they were.
And then what did you observe them do, if anything? If that's a number of people there. Let's narrow it down first off with the law enforcement, the police. When they responded, what did you see them do, if anything?
And they didn't come in with lights going on or anything like that. It was a very subtle arrival. We were in the hallway by an exit door, down the hall from where the rooms were. So we were pretty much gathered there. They came in, they said, what would you like us to do? And they were talking to security about it as well. And they said they didn't want to escalate the situation. And we said, there's a couple of kids in there that we were concerned about at that point. And then a nephew of mine came by, and he has a master's degree in behavioral science. So he came by, he's Christopher's first cousin, and he said, let me see if I can go in and talk this through and find out what's going on. So he went in there for about 10 minutes. So we just stayed down at the end of the hallway with the security, the police, my brother and my sister.
And prior to your nephew going in the room, had anyone else gone into the room at the point after you heard that statement,
No,
as far as you know?
no.
And as far as the hotel security, what was their involvement? What did they do when you reported what you just told the court?
They were basically just, I think, standing as backup with us there to see where this was going to go.
After the nephew went into the room, what happened after that, if anything?
He came out with the kids, and Christopher and my sister's and niece's room was right next door to their room. And there was just an agreement that the kids would stay there for the night.
With the nephew?
Pardon?
With who?
My sister and my niece,
Okay.
that the kids would just go to sleep there for the rest of the night.
Okay.
And everybody would regroup in the morning.
No further questions.
Cross-examination, Mr. Walker.
At any point did Christopher make any threatening comments to you? Did Christopher threaten you to you in any conversations with
No,
you? And what you heard was, I'm going to kill, right?
correct.
You don't know if the next word would have been my aunt, myself, or my dog.
No, but the
No,
preceding
just
words,
yes, no question.
Okay.
You did not, you have no clue what he was talking.
I do.
You do based on an assumption or?
No, based on the words used prior to that. The money, the grandma part.
But again, you're making an assumption. You didn't hear him say what he was going to kill.
Correct.
Okay. And this had to do with some sort of financial situation, correct?
I'm not sure.
This had to do with the financial situation, correct? As far as you being the trustee of money that is his, basically his fiduciary.
Money for my brother's estate, correct.
But it's money that is Christopher's being held in trust, correct? Okay. Has he had financial issues in the past?
Yes, greatly.
Have you ever seen Christopher upset in the past?
Yes, I have.
And is it fair to say that sometimes he'll just say things to blow off steam?
I guess there's a culmination on the record of wanting to kill people when he does that.
He's never acted on any of that. He never told.
So far,
Direct, Mr. Wallace?
And then you said, as far as you asked about other times, what have you seen other times?
I know that this would have been the fifth reported.
Your Honor, I'm going to object as far as whether she's just talking about something that was reported to her from a third or a fourth source, or something that she has direct knowledge of.
We can find out, Your Honor, but it still would be admissible since hearsay is not a proper objection for a probation violation hearing.
1101, objections overruled.
But ma'am, just to narrow it down, you said 5 things, 5 reported. Are those 5 things that you've seen yourself or things that you have obtained from other people?
They're on record.
Well, yes, but on record meaning that you saw it or heard it or someone else did.
Of the other incidents, I am fully aware of them because
Your Honor, I'm.
They're directed.
As far as now, she's totally non-responsive.
She was still answering the question.
Right, I'll allow her to answer the question. If you repeat the question.
I'm not sure I got the question now. As far as on the record you mentioned, are these ones that you personally saw or ones that someone else came to you and let you know about?
I personally know that there are
Your Honor, again.
records.
You could let her answer the question.
Yes.
We can then find out.
I'm gonna allow her to answer the question, but I understand his objection.
I understand, Your Honor, but might want to wait till we get the answer out and then have the
But
objection.
Your Honor, at the same point, she is already, before she even gets the answer out, is saying that it has been reported, what have you. So she's being non-responsive by saying that and then going off into whatever area she's going.
I understand. I do understand. The objection's noted for the record, but let's hear the answer first, and if it's not proper, the court's going to strike and not consider it.
Yes, Your Honor. So again, you started to say how you know about these other acts, other incidents. How do you know about them?
Because they're family reports
Okay.
on record with the courts.
Okay. And were these ones that you've seen or just have heard from other family members?
One was mine and the rest are other family members.
One you've seen, where was that at and when did that take place approximately?
The one previous to this was about 3 years ago when the kids and their mom needed help from a dangerous situation that they were in a trailer with him and
Okay.
they called for help.
And then the other ones you said that were reported by family, approximately when did those happen then?
First one was 10 years ago, and that was related to my oldest brother's business where Christopher was being released from his job, and he reported that he was going to go back and kill everybody there.
And then before this particular incident, when was the last one that you know of being reported?
My sister did the report probably, I think it's on record, maybe 5 years ago when he was in a drug-induced frenzy and said he was going to slice her throat and enjoy watching her bleed out. So it's the culmination that is my concern for myself.
So this has been a historic.
I mean, it's so hard for me to control this. This is rank hearsay. It also probably predates the crime for which he is actually on probation for. But again, this is not, I guess, I don't know. I gotta shut up. It's so long. This is such a long case. And if we manage to get through it quickly, I have another quick one that I want to show you guys. So that's why I'm really trying.
History part that you've seen as well. So when you heard the statement at the hotel, the Zenders, that all played a part and parcel to what you were hearing from him that night.
Yes.
And you were asked on cross as far as if you knew what he was saying and you didn't hear the words kill. But prior to that, was he talking about anybody specifically?
He was talking about me.
And he's made these other times were threats against other people.
Correct, including the bar situation that is also on record of going back and going to kill everybody in that bar.
Thank you.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
This statement at the very end with the word kill, can you tell me what that statement was that you heard? Sure, if you want to repeat the whole thing, that's fine.
What I heard was, because of all of you, I now have to have goddamn coffee with her in the morning. I'm going to tell her I want all my money, or I'm going to stay with grandma forever, or I'm going to fucking kill.
Questions in light of the courts?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Walsh?
No, Your Honor.
You may sit. For the purpose.
Your Honor, I think we do have, I don't know if you're on Zoom or not.
There are two individuals checked in.
If I might call them briefly, just, the first one, you have names or not. One will probably be maybe in uniform, the other one not. Might be the way to go look at it, by looking at it.
I have a Charles Carr and a Chad Spark.
Let's bring Mr. Carr in. He's the hotel security.
They subpoenaed the hotel security.
What you said the other one was the Spark?
Charles Carr and Chad Spark.
Okay, either one then.
Judge remote control. Tapping that remote control, baby.
Good morning. Can you hear us at ZS?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So I help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Walters, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, if you could state your name and spell your last name.
Charles Carr, C-A-R-R,
And where do you work at, sir?
Zinder's Splash Village in Frankenmuth, Michigan.
And what is your role there?
I'm in the security department.
And back on February 22nd and 23rd of this year, were you working there at that time?
Yes, sir.
You recall about what hours you were working?
I work from 6 at night till 2 in the morning. Or, I'm sorry, forgive me. I work from 8 at night till 6 in the morning. Sorry.
That's okay. And while you were there, did you get approached or have contact with a Diane Mead?
I did.
And what was the nature of that?
She said that she was having troubles with her nephew, that he might be intoxicated, and that there was children in his room and they were being screamed at. I did not hear it, but that's what she relayed to me.
And what did you do in that regard to that?
I went with her towards the room and I did not hear anything, but I did knock on the door and speak with him and ask him if everything was okay. And he said yes. I mean, everything was fine, of course. And then that was about it. And then he started talking with his aunt. And then I kind of dropped back out of the conversation.
And at that point, about what time, if you recall, about what time was that when that was going on?
Oh, it was before midnight, but I'm not quite certain what time. It was
Okay.
probably around maybe 9, 10 o'clock.
And so when you knocked on the door, the person in the room answered directly or opened the door? You could see him face to face?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get contacted at a later time again by Ms. Mead?
I was, if I remember correctly, I was hanging around the room because they were having a conversation with the nephew to find out, what could be done. And they were planning on, taking the children to her room, I believe. And at that time, the other officer that was there with me, Mr. Sparks, texted or messaged the Frankenmuth Police Department to come by, and they arrived. And as soon as they arrived, basically we were out of the picture. It was their responsibility then. It was for them to speak with the gentleman and to make any determinations whatsoever what was going to happen.
And again, that's standard procedure for you. Once the law enforcement or police arrive, you let them take charge.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you did in this case.
Yes, sir.
So, does you recall there was only the one time that you had contacted Ms. Mead, or was it more than one time?
I believe, it was over a course of time, but I believe it was all related to the same incident in the room. And I don't think I ever left her area. I did have them move away because the guest next door to Mr. Osentowski, if that's how you pronounce his name, I'm sorry, came out of the room and wondered what all the noise was. So I moved everybody away back towards the indoor pool that we have, so that to get him away from that room. And I don't believe I ever left her side. I mean, the area, not her side, but the area until everything was resolved when he went to another room and the kids were moved to her room. But that's what the police decided to do, and that's what, obviously that's what, they rule the roost.
And as you mentioned, law enforcement arrived. That was Frankenmuth Police Department.
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Lockwood, cross-examination? No question. All right. Thank you. Mr. Carr, you're all set.
Thank you.
Appreciate you appearing. What's the status of this witness, Mr. Wallace?
We have no objection to him being excused, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Carr, you're also excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
We might as well go ahead and since Mr. Spark is on, let's go ahead and bring him in.
Second security officer. Somebody had to go over the top to do this. You can always try, William. A hot take on something? Judge is like, hurry up. Paisley says it too. I really want to show you this other case.
Morning, sir. Can you hear us and see us?
Yeah.
Thank you. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Wallace?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
If you could, sir, state your name and spell your last name.
Chad Spark, SPARCK.
And you broke up there, so why don't you have you say your first name again?
Chad.
Thank you. And where do you work at, sir?
I work at Zender Splash Village.
What's your role there?
I'm a security officer.
And back on February 22nd, 23rd of this year, were you working then?
I was.
You recall what hours?
What's that?
You recall what hours?
Well, I stayed late due to this incident, but I do not recall. I believe I was there about 6 p.m. to about 3 a.m.
And you said you were there because of, you said this incident. What incident are you talking about?
The one where we got, we had to go to room 144 for a talking harshly to his kids.
Okay. How did you get notified about that?
The gentleman's family member. Well, family members.
What were you informed of?
That he had made a comment while they were walking by and they were scared for the children's safety.
What did you do at that point in time?
We made contact with the room. They wanted the kids out of the room for their safety, and they had started talking to him outside of the room.
And when you say they, how many is they, if you recall?
There was about 3 family members. I believe one was his cousin. We have the complainant as Karen Ostentoski, if I'm saying that right.
Okay. And then, did you notify any other agencies about this or request assistance from anybody?
Frankenmuth Police Department.
And how did that come about?
The family wanted the police called just in case it escalated any further.
Was this the only time that you had contact with the family or with the person in that room?
It was the only time I had contact with them.
Okay. And did you specifically contact law enforcement?
I did.
And when they arrived, what did you do at that point?
The family kind of gave them a rundown of what was going on with the situation. There wasn't much with it. They just kind of talked to them or talked to the gentleman in the room. He was more than willing to let the kids go to the other room for the night, room 142. He was staying in 144. I mean, after that, that was about it. I mean, He did what we wanted as far as, getting the kids to a safer area.
And you let law enforcement take charge, so to speak, and deal with the matter that once they arrive.
What was that?
You let law enforcement take charge once they arrive.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that, I don't think there was too much to take charge of, but yeah, he just agreed to let the kids move to a different room for the night, because the family wanted it for their safety. But after that, I mean, we had no other calls to the room.
Great. Thank you. No further questions, John.
Cross-examination, Mr. Lawler.
So the statement that was told to you, that was the basis for your involvement, is that Mr. Christopher Ozentowski was speaking harshly to the kids.
Yeah.
And they were worried about the safety of the children.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They were worried about the safety of the children, yes, because of the comment someone had overheard one of the family members while walking by.
And that would be Karen Mead or Karen Ozentowski, as you refer to her, correct?
Yeah.
Or I guess strike that. So it was Karen Ozentowski that you. Okay, I have nothing further.
And Mrs. Sparks, was a report written by Zender as far as security?
Yeah, I have the case report right here.
And in your report, does it indicate that the man in 144 was heard by another family member stating that if he didn't get all of his trust fund money, that he was going to kill everyone?
That is correct.
And that's what was relayed then to hotel security?
Well, we are the hotel security.
Right, but was that relayed to you or to the other gentleman?
That was relayed to us from the family, the group of 3 that was originally at the room with us.
So you were told about a threat at that point in time? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Lawler?
No, you're right.
I don't have any questions. So, Mr. Spark, you're all set. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Excuse?
We'd ask you to excuse, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Lawler?
Not at all.
You're also excused, sir. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, what do we think is going
No
to
further
happen?
questions.
I think the judge is going to make his decision here. A lot of this last bit of this is them talking about dates. So let's get our guesses in right now. What do you think is going to happen? Is the judge going to find a probation violation or not? Get your guesses in the chat. We'll do it quickly, and then I have another little good case for us to end on.
Mr. Locker, do you wish to present any first?
I have no proof, Your Honor.
All right. Mark.
Your Honor, we have in front of the court, defendant who's on probation, as the court has heard. The court can also take judicial notice of its own file in that regard, as well as we have conditioned that there be no threatening, assaultive behavior. And you have a clear statement by the defendant, heard by Ms. Mead and testified by Ms. Mead, but in an angry tone and format that just caused her significant concern, that she then said, we need to get some help here. We need to get security. We need to get law enforcement because this isn't working out. As you heard the court heard, she testified that, or I'm just going to kill him. And as you heard from her history that she had, that was something that she took very serious because of the previous times of other threats to other people when he gets that kind of frame of mind. We submit that there's been more than sufficient evidence for this court to find that the defendant violated the terms of probation, and we ask the court to so find.
Mr. Locker.
Thank you, Your Honor. Couple things here. First and foremost, we might have had the clear testimony, as Mr. Wallace states, of Ms. Mead regarding this, but we don't have clear testimony as far as what was actually said. Is this a situation where the was going to, or maybe he finished the sentence saying what Ms. Mead thought. Maybe. Was the next word going to be myself? Maybe. We don't know what the next word was because we don't know what that next word was. She was not in the room, so obviously it was not directed to her to make any sort of threat to Ms. Mead because she, again, wasn't there. It's my position, just like any other youth. I'm just going to, telling somebody to take a long walk out the shore here. You're not actually going to take them to the shoreline. I'm going to kill myself. You're not going to actually do that often. It's just say, I'm trying to get attention from whoever I'm talking to. It could be a situation where just frustration, something of that nature, but we don't know. And the one thing that I would also point out that Mr. Wallace brought up is the statement that Mr. Sparks stated that he was told that Mr. Eisenhausen was going to kill everyone. Where is it? And the answer is we don't know, because that was something that she had been, or somebody had been, somewhere along the line. I don't believe that there is any threatening behavior. Don't know what was said. It definitely wasn't directed against the person that assumes or thinks that they assume that it was directed at them.
Just briefly, Ryan, the court heard this full statement, plus specifically about Ms. Mead. And secondly, before the statement was even made, this court recalled Ms. Mead testified that his son said, "Dad, stop saying that. You can't say that." Clearly, the child was also concerned about what was being said and how it was being said. And part and parcel of everything that's been portrayed here, we think is sufficient support.
Burden of proof is placed upon the prosecution to prove by a preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not, essentially, that the conditions of probation have been violated. The court takes judicial notice of its prior orders, which include the file, which indicate the order of probation includes the following provision regarding any threatening, intimidating behavior, specifically in paragraph 11 of the order of probation. You must not engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. It's alleged that the defendant engaged in that behavior on or about February 22nd, 23, 22, or 23 of this past year at Splash Park in Zenders. There was, according to the testimony, there was a birthday celebration going on, and at the birthday celebration, according to Ms. Mead, Diane Mead, who is the aunt of the defendant, who's also the trustee of her own brother's trust, which presumably the defendant is a recipient of that trust, that there was activity earlier on in the day or afternoon. I don't know exactly the time frame, but the odor of marijuana was noticed, was of concern, and I didn't hear anything regarding alcohol, but the long and short of it is there was some concern relative to that odor coming from the particular room that, according to the witness, the defendant was in. And after some discussion, and I'll use the word discussion loosely, the defendant had agreed to give up his car keys to his aunt, and that they would have coffee the next morning and talk about it, which sounds pretty reasonable to me under the circumstances. Fast forward a little bit later into the evening, it was toward the end of the night, it was the end of the night. And actually, the conversation regarding the defendant driving was around 11 p.m., if I recall the testimony correctly. But fast forward to around 1:30 in the morning, and according to Ms. Mead, she was walking to her room and heard what she believed to be her nephew's son say to the defendant, "Stop saying that," or "Don't say that," and overheard her nephew, the defendant, state, "It's all your fault." Words to that effect, and I'm not going to quote exactly, I don't recall the exact verbiage used, but words to the effect of, well, I've had coffee with her. I want all my money, and or I'll stay with grandma and live with her, live completely with her, or I'm going to kill. Now, kill what or who? It wasn't said. Clearly, it wasn't stated according to the testimony. Now, the last witness in this case, Mr. Spark, had testified that killed everyone, but he wasn't there at the time, so he's kind of getting it second or third hand, and which is clearly hearsay. But under 1101, it's the court can consider it. But I don't give it a ton of weight regarding everyone, because according to the witness here, Ms. Mead, it was just to kill. Like I said, nothing specific as to her. But if you put all the words together, the common sense interpretation of it is, if I don't get my money, I'm going to kill, well, who's in charge of the money? Is me. Now, fortunately, it's behind closed doors. It wasn't face to face, but it was close enough clearly with the door there for Ms. Mead to hear it. Police were called. The situation was resolved, and that was the end of it. But when I consider that testimony, clearly it's in violation of condition 4.18, which is not to engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. Now, there's no evidence on the record to indicate that the defendant even knew that his hand was at the door or near the door. But there's nothing in the probation order that says it must be directed at someone. It says you must not engage in any threatening or intimidating behavior. I find the statement to be threatening or intimidating. As a result, based upon a preponderance of the evidence, I find that the defendant has violated the terms of his probation and will enter judgment in that fashion. Are we looking at sentencing down the road?
They spend the next 2 minutes determining what day to do sentencing, and it's in May. So I will keep my eye out for that. I really want to show you guys this other case. I don't have a lot of time, so we have to do it quick, okay? This one. Which one fucking was it? I gotta look at my notes. It was the second one. It was, I think, this one. Oh, god damn it. I think I'm right.
We're hearing cause number DF 2415042, Boswell and Benavides. With the parties in the Boswell matter, please unmute yourselves, turn your cameras on, and raise your right hands. Just one party, Mr. Talley?
No, Judge, the mother is here as well, Ms. Benavides.
Ms. Benavides, can you unmute yourself and could...
Mac, I've had almost every job you could name of in the past. I picked up more hours because of the economy and all that kind of stuff at a different job that I do part-time. But I do this mostly full-time, so I've been doing this for a while. But like, for example, I used to work at the Attorney General's office in my own province. I've worked at literally everything you could ever fucking suggest. I've had almost every job. But look at Justin. Doesn't Justin look like a fucking werewolf? Seriously, he looks like a werewolf.
The two of you, please raise your right hands. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Boswell?
I do.
Ms. Benavides?
I do.
You may both lower your hands. Mr. Garner, you want to announce who you're representing today?
Lauren Garner for Mr. Boswell.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Talley, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. We are here in a petition to establish the parent-child relationship, and the parties have reached an agreement, if I may state those terms.
You may.
The order finds that Mr. Boswell is the biological and legal father of the child subject of this suit, whose surname will remain Benavides. The parties will be joint managing conservators of the child, with Ms. Benavides having the exclusive right to designate that child's primary residence within Dallas or Collin County. There will be a step-up visitation schedule. The child is under 3. Initially, Mr. Boswell will have visitation from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the second Saturday of each month for 6 months from the date of this order. Those periods of visitation are to be supervised by the mother. Following that, Mr. Boswell will have visitation from 6 p.m. on Saturday to 6 p.m. on the following Sunday on the second Saturday of each month until the child is 5 years of age. And then Mr. Boswell will have a standard possession and access schedule. The parties have agreed that the exchange location will be a retail center on McDermott Road in Allen, Texas. The mother will be ordered to apply for or maintain the child on government medical assistance program. Mr. Boswell will pay cash medical support of $170 per month beginning May 1st, and he will pay guideline child support of $300 per month beginning May 1st. There's a retroactive child support judgment against Mr. Boswell from June of 2024 through today's date in the amount of $2,530. That judgment will be paid at $60 per month beginning May 1st. Court costs would be as billed to Mr. Boswell, and there's no request for a finding of family violence or non-disclosure. And that is the extent of the order, if I may call the parties.
Can you give me the child support amount again, please, sir?
300 even, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And you may call your first witness.
I'll call the mother. Ma'am, would you please state your full name?
Yes, it's Rosa Benavides.
Did you hear the terms of the order that were stated to the court?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand those terms?
Yes.
And are you in agreement with the terms and believe they are in the best interest of your child?
Yes.
Has there been any family violence between you and Mr. Boswell in the last 2 years?
No, sir.
Do you have any other child support cases where family violence is a concern?
No, sir.
I'll pass the witness.
I have no question.
Okay, you may call your next witness, Ms.
Again, this is going so smoothly so far. Buddy has his own lawyer, but this is a great child support agreement. $300? That's nothing. $170 for fucking health insurance? Also nothing. Pretty good deal. $470, like Flusha said. That's pretty fucking cheap in this day and age. We have heard incredibly higher numbers than that. Plus, his retroactive number is like $2,500. That's low. We had a guy the other day with like $48,000.
Mr. Talley.
I'll call Mr. Boswell. Sir, would you please state your full name?
Justin Boswell.
Did you hear the terms of the order that were stated to the court?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand those terms?
Yes, sir.
And are you in agreement with the terms and believe they are in the best interest of your child?
We actually need to make amendments to it.
Excuse me?
We need to make amendments to it. I'm not in agreement with it.
What do you not agree to?
So the insurance, I believe, needs to be split 50-50. And then
That's not the way it works, Justin. The insurance is for the non-custodial parent, which is you, and it's 9% of your income. It's based on a number. There's nothing you can do to change that.
okay, well, we need to adjust something. You disagree?
Y'all want to go back in the breakout room and talk to each other? Want to recess?
We
Honestly, Your Honor.
absolutely we need to discuss. Yes, for
Let
sure.
me just ask him a few questions if that's all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sir, are you in agreement with the terms regarding the conservatorship, meaning who the child lives with primarily?
Yes,
well as the
absolutely. Yes,
visitation?
all of that. Yes.
Okay, are you in agreement with the child support amount of $300?
That could be subject to change depending on what we talk about.
Okay, you understand that that amount is based on your income?
Yes.
Okay. Are you simply objecting to the total amount being, I guess, is it 530?
Well, one of the issues that I have is the back pay, because I had been making payments.
Okay, let's discuss that briefly. Since June of 2024, Do you have any proof that you can give to the court that you made any payments to Ms. Benavides?
So June and forward?
Yes, June of 2024 through today.
No, it was all before that.
Oh, okay, all before that. Bro, June of 2024 was almost April, May, June. That's almost 10 months. That you haven't provided anything except hair products for yourself, apparently. Extra hold hair products.
Okay, she's not asking for any money before that. She's only asking from that time. So
Okay.
if that's your answer, then that will have to be what the
But
judgment is.
with the custody agreement, the reason why I feel like we need to talk more is that I'm giving her almost full time. She's getting Elena almost full time. All I care about is that she's okay. I want to check up on her, make sure that she's healthy, and I want to be notified of medical decisions and things like that.
Two
but
things.
because she's getting full-
Do you understand that your visitation schedule is not contingent upon the child support that you pay? Those two things are independent of each other, and one is not affected by the other. And then secondly, as we discussed, you will have the rights of a joint managing conservator, and you will have the rights to have access to the child's records from the teacher or their doctor, to speak to the school or the doctor's office, to speak to the mother about those issues. You will have all those rights. Those are included in the order.
So you're saying that the amount of time, custody or visitation and the custody agreement has absolutely nothing to do with how much I'm paying?
I'll let the judge confirm that, but you basically allowing Ms. Benavides to have more time with the child than the standard visitation schedule at this point is not a factor that would be considered in lowering your child support.
Okay, so what if I'm not able to afford it?
It's purely based on your income. And it's my understanding that this was y'all's agreement, but I'm going to pass the
Mr.
witness at this
Talley,
point, Judge.
I think we should recess and y'all should go in a breakout room. At least Mr. Garner and his client should go in a breakout room and talk.
Would you like to ask him any questions, Mr. Garner, before we do that?
Yes, briefly.
I don't
Your Honor,
think I want him to ask him any questions. I think I want him to go in a breakout room and talk to his client because his client seems to be confused about some things. And then after he talks to him, you guys can come back out and we'll talk again. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
in
Thank you.
recess right now. And I don't know what breakout room y'all were in, Mr. Talley, but you guys can go back in the breakout room.
Yeah,
We'll
they
be
can
in
just
You
anyone.
can't even make it
you
back
can
into
just
the
hit the button
breakout
to
room,
rejoin.
guys.
That's on your screen, and it'll take you right back to the same one you were in.
Miss Benavides, you can just cut your camera off and mute yourself until they come back out or until they ask for you and Mr. Talley to come in the room with them, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
He just sits, waits.
Judge, I'm ready to approach on number 4 on the docket.
Hold on one second, Mr. Burton. Mr. Boswell, you need to go in the breakout room with your attorney. So
Okay.
it'll be 4 dots or 4 squares. If you hit them, it should take you back to the breakout room.
Okay. I don't see anything as of yet.
Okay, you're not gonna get another invite because you're already invited. Just tap where you see breakout room and it'll take you back.
Okay. Breakout room. There we go. Got it.
All right,
No,
thank you,
don't.
sir.
Oh yeah, now you
Now, what did you say, Mr. Burton, number 4?
Yes, Judge.
Still.
Being personally served.
This lady's style's crazy, but we're skipping ahead. I don't have time. We're gonna just come back to this.
We're back in cause number DF 2415042, Boswell and Benavides. With the parties in the Boswell and Benavides matter, please unmute yourselves, turn your cameras on. We have everybody back but Mr. Garner? Oh, we got Mr. Garner back also. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone was previously sworn. Don't really.
Any guesses about what's gonna happen here, folks? Do we think that his lawyer managed to explain it to him. What's going to happen? Are they going to renegotiate this whole deal? Since he's being so generous in letting her do all of the work and all the responsibility.
Remember where we were, Mr. Talley. I believe Mr. Garner was getting ready to question his client.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Boswell, you and I have discussed this agreement that you've entered into. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The agreement to pay $300 is an agreement that you and Ms. Benavides entered into. Is that correct?
Yep.
And you understand that 9% of your income based off of $300 child support is the amount that you're going to be paying in insurance. Is that correct? That's the $170, correct?
Yes.
And you understand that the back child support goes back to June, where you can't show that you've made any payments to her, and the amount would be the $2,500 and change, correct?
Yes.
And you understand you're going to pay that off at $60 a month. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that you have a joint managing conservatorship with equal rights and duties regarding the child. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you're in agreement with all of that.
I am.
That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah, I said I am.
Okay. And you also understand the child visitation schedule is something that you and mom worked out beforehand, and that's what you want. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And I explained to you now, if you go to court, you could probably get more visitation, but you wanted what you and mom agreed to. Is that correct?
Yes, it actually is in the best interest of
And
the
you're
child.
asking the court, and you're asking the court to enter this order in the best interest of the child. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, we have nothing further.
Okay, I have a question. What's the reason for the exchange location? Why is
It's
it
the halfway point between the parties, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And if everybody agrees, I'm fine with that. So then I will accept it. Is there anything else, Mr. Talley? Excuse me.
No, Judge, thank you.
All right. Anything further from you, Mr. Garner?
No, ma'am.
All right, then I will accept the agreement of the parties, make this agreement the order of the court. Do either of you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
All right, then thank you both for appearing here today, and you're both free to go.
Thank
you.
you.
Excuse, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
It's good to see you, ma'am.
Good to see you, sir.
True question, Adam. True question. And I'm so glad you're here, but I'm on my way out the door. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was quite the morning. We had the, oh, look at the screen showing. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was a blast. Thank you for being here with me. I won't be here tonight. Like I said, I gotta go work. I gotta make some money. Gotta make some money. Especially because I don't. Well, was there ads during this video? If anybody got an ad, let me know. That means I may have made 3 to 4 pennies. And I appreciate it immensely. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm choking. Thank you guys. Yeah, go shake my money maker. What other job can you survive on only 1 or 2 days a week? Than a stripper. Yeah, right. Oh my God, I would be in so much better shape. So much better shape. Oh, but if you're watching with premium, that still gets me a few pennies, so I appreciate that too. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. I love you guys so much. I got a bunch more court today, but we don't have time. So, do me a favor. Have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're on. So, and since we did it today, I think that's every single day this week. Anyways, you guys, do me a favor. Remember that I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Ways down and ready to ride.